Hello and welcome to English coaching class. I'm your English teacher, Shahid Ashikur Rahman. Students, I have been doing the 7 parts, I've done the 7 parts of the video from the lesson The Enemy, written by Pearl S. Burke. So introduction 1 class I have taken, and the rest line-wise explanation I have done it in 7 parts. Okay, today this is a recapitulation or sum up or summarizingly. I'll be explaining what is the chapter about, because students need last moment preparation. They don't listen the full chapter. This is the whole year preparation, part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and for last minute preparation, that is for during the examination, student need that 5 minutes 10 minutes preparation before going for the exam. So this is the video they can watch and just get into the examination for shorter information. Not they cannot answer the long questions, but I hope this will help the students to even write the long answers. Okay, so I'll be discussing the question answers also. Okay, so just I'm bringing the page. Students, let's discuss, and before discussing, and I'll be asking the few questions too. So students, be active whatever the sessions you have attended. I hope you will be able to answer the questions. Okay, so let me bring it to the page. And before bringing to the page, I want the new users, those who are watching my channel, do subscribe and press the bell icon button, like the video and do share the video. Okay, share and care will help you. Just share as much as possible. So just wait and the screen is coming to you. Yeah, students, you can see it on the screen. Again, I have brought it to discuss on theme. Then I'll be going for the summarizing analysis. Okay, the first I can see I have a detailed explanation of details dealing or explanation on the part of theme again. Before concluding, before summarizing, just I want to discuss again on theme. Racism as a byproduct of nationalism. Okay, racism as a byproduct of nationalism. First point here. The second point, duty versus self-interest. Third, universality of human race. Okay, here are the 5 points that I'm going to discuss with you today on the base of that is what on the theme. Then I'll go for discussing on the gist or summarizingly the chapter analysis we can do. We'll summarize the information. It's a 25 to 30 page, and if I'll again elaborate, it will be painful for you. So here in the line you can see the first one, all of the Japanese character exhibit a profound antagonist. So students, before bringing or before discussing on this matter, just I want you all to just share me, write it down or tell me again what that is the characters. Come on students, I hope you remember the characters. Just write it down, the character in the least, just names how many characters we have dealt it. Then I'll go for the discussion with further things. Come on students, those who are attending the class from the very beginning or attended the last, any part, I want the characters should come up. So write it down the characters, or you can tell me. You can turn on your speaker and you can answer to me, students. You can turn on your speaker and you can answer to me, students. Okay, so just tell me. Okay, just tell me, the students, you just tell me the characters.
Hello.
Yeah. Name please, better.
Sir, Dr. Sadao, his wife Hannah, his father, sir, the American
name,
and
American prisoner
sir,
name. Anyone?
Sir.
Anyone? Name of American prisoner. Yes, no issue. Continue the other characters.
Sir, and Dr. Sadao's servants, gardener.
The servants, Yumi, cook.
Yes, sir.
Gardener.
Cook.
Yeah, and you are forgetting the name of that prisoner was Tom. Tom and Jerry.
Yes,
Tom.
sir. Yes, sir. Tom.
Okay,
yes, sir.
Tom and Jerry. You remember this part. It will help you to remember that character easily. Okay, first one will just again I'll recall the discuss that is what Dr. Sadao, wife Hannah, 2 kids of Mr. and Mrs. Sadao, what we can say, Hoki, Sadao Hoki. Okay, so they have two kids. Then we see the general. Okay, and after general we see that messenger is coming for short interval, and then we see that the prisoner of war, that's the second character that is important here, and then we see Yumi and the other servants. And while working, Yumi is about thinking about a general that his name is General Takima. So these are the characters we see in our discussion of chapter. Okay, so we are able to meet this. These are the characters. So after discussing on the characters, we are again back with the discussion of the theme points. So all of the Japanese character exhibit a profoundly antagonistic attitude toward white people. Okay, antagonistic, protagonist, antagonist, protagonist, hero, antagonist, villain. Okay, villain. Okay, so antagonist, villain, for quite synonym for easy understanding. I'm just sharing the term villain. Okay, so here you can understand, students, what is that? The here the antagonist towards the white people. The only explanation for this deep-seated hatred. Yeah, students, you can see here the lines are talking the hatred of whites and feeling of superiority toward them is offered through the experience of Sadao in America. So only explanation for this deep-seated hatred. So that already the hatred was inserted in their mind of whites and feeling of superiority towards them is offered through the experience of Sadao in America. When Sadao was in America, he had this bitter experience. The white that hated these people. Okay, yet everyone in his recollections proved to reference people who were kind. See here, with him, the general Americans treated Japanese very badly. But with him, with Sadao, the people were very kind. He recalled those in what memories? Merciful, showing compassion towards him. If experience is the driving mechanism behind such comprehensive hatred and dismal of millions of people simply due to color of their skin. Okay, so this still we can see in America, still this system is there, racism, white and black. And recently we can see Donald Trump is coming, his session is going to an end, his what period is coming to an end. People, black people, they're coming out, they're standing against him. White and black still exist in America. So that was observed, that what treatment was done with Japanese people. Okay, Sadao's racism can only be termed irrationally. Okay, Sadao's racism can be treated as irrationally. Okay, can be termed irrationally. In this way, the racism is inextricably linked to the negative influence of nationalism. So racism has been negatively linked with the nationalism here. Since Sadao's experience not align with his bias, so his experience does not experiments what he has experienced does not got bias in the present situation. He did not got bias how he has been treated in America, but he thought about the positive things. He did not think about the what negative thing that happened over there. He was only with the positive aspects. That's why he was able to deal with the that soldier American Tom in a proper open-heartedly. Okay, he can only be explained as a condition engendered by a steady diet of nationalist propaganda. So we can see here the Sadao's expect not aligning with his bias. It does not get biased with the happening things. It can only be explained as a condition and engendered. There is no gender discrimination, no white and black discrimination, but be a steady diet of nationalist propaganda. He was steady diet. He gave a big example of what being nationalist, being Japanese treated Americans. So he gave an example, but that year, what was happening in America, that racism or propaganda was there, but it does not influence on whom? This Sadao. Okay, students, I hope you're able to understand this part. If not, you can write it down in the chat box. I'll help you out with the lines. I hope students, you got it the point. Next comes duty versus self-interest. Duty versus self-interest. Yes. Okay, understood. Here, the second theme point, I have discussed many, but I am going to explain here three of them. That is quite important and connecting to the chapter. In this theme is explored through two different men representing two distinct expression of self-interest. Okay, this theme is explored through two different men. Okay, two different men, American and another one Japanese. Saddam knows it is his patriotic duty to turn the injured white American over to its authorities as a prison of war. Getting my point? It is his patriotic duty. Being a national, being a Japanese, his duty is that he's American, he'll hand over to whom? To the police of Japan. But what happened here? But his compassion as a physician, showed to heal triumphs that duty. Being a physician, being a doctor, being a surgeon, he compelled him, that made him, forced him to do his surgery. This is a case where self-interest is a complicated thing because his interest involves duty to his vocation. Okay, so his interest, I have an interest, I love to play guitar. Wherever I'll get free time, I'll show my interest. I want to learn. My desire, my interest and desire will grow. Okay, when I don't have an interest, I cannot do it. So self-interest, what is talking self-interest, dragged him towards the duty. So what happened is here, on the other hand, General Takima avoids the expectation of duty to his country in order to overlook Sadao's danger decision because of a more nakedly explicit preference for self-interest. Okay, General, what we were talking about, General Takima. So what happened? On the other hand, General Takima avoided the expectation of duty to his country in order to overlook Sadao's dangerous decision. So General Takima, we have seen that he's assuring him that he'll be helping, but here we saw that he was busy here. Expectation of duty towards his country in order to overlook Sadao's danger. Sadao's danger means Sadao was in danger. How he was in danger? He was in danger keeping that American in his house. So he may be proved being a traitor who is not paying respect to his own country. He is showing affection towards other. So decision because of his more nakedly explicit preference of self or self-interest. This was his self-interest showing and helping that. If he carries out his duty as a general, the doctor will wind up imprisoned and odds, which means he will not be able to conduct the surgery which the general needs to prolong his life. So general also see the same example. General is also not doing his duty. He is doing his self-interest. He need to be treated first. That's why he is not asking, or he's not informing, he's not exploring, or he's not sharing that secret of Sadao to everyone. He is keeping it secret as secret only. He just hides him and control everything. Okay, at the end, doctor is safe. So you can understand self-interest and duty, how these two things is go different, or we can say how these two things play different in our role. Okay, my interest, self-interest, I want to do something, and at the same time I am duty bound. So what is my thing? I will duty bound, but self-interest is there, that is going in a self-conscious mind, and definitely that is going to disturb. I hope students you are able to understand duty versus self-interest. Next comes here universality of the human race. Universality of the human race. Many readers may complete the story and think to themselves how much it reminds them of people they know, or the problem of white supremacist. Supremacist means they're superior to everyone, and how the idea of Japanese superiority comes into the conflict with the country's wartime ally. Means during the wartime problem, how this supremacy comes there, how this comes into the entry. Germany, where Hitler was preaching the gospel of Aryan superiority. In the Germany, the Hitler was there and he was preaching the gospel of Aryan superiority. Dictatorship was going on of what? Hitler's, and he was ruling that power. He was exploring his power in the what country of German. So what happened here? The same time, the scenario was different. Americans were there to attack Japanese. The truth is that it is fairly easy to make points about everybody in the same when characters are presented as victims of operations. So it is truth that it is fairly easy to make point. We can easily make point. What? We can easily make point to anyone. But what happened when the turn comes for you? Okay, the same when the character is present as victim of operation. We can see when until unless you are not in a scene. Okay, you do not face the same situation, you don't realize what is the problem. Okay, for example, students, I'll tell you, for example, okay, suppose you are playing in with a group of your friends, kabaddi or some game. What happened? You fall down. When you fall down and others starts laughing at you, you feel very ashamed. You are not able to play perfect. And when other friends, when you play basketball, other friends easily put a ball inside the basket and you are not. Others starts laughing, you're not able to. You feel ashamed. Similar, when you're not in the victim stage, you cannot understand the other's problem. Just you mark it down that this or he or she is in this situation. You just can think about them, but you cannot realize the real or practical problem. Okay, you cannot understand the practical problem. Similar way here the same talking about making that point with characters who represents the worst aspect of an oppressive regime. However, is much more difficult, and the story's greatness lies in how just easily a bucks pulls it off. I mean, see, this is the greatness have been shown. This main trauma, main difficulties, main problem has been solved in a simple way. Okay, and it may not even be until after the story has been completed or allowed to simmer afterward that the expression of Japanese superiority and unrelenting and relentlessly irrational racism of every Japanese characters comes to seen as an universal aspect united people of all color, nationalities and culture. See, the easily I can explain you this line, what happens here, the sum of these ideas here. See, in the most of the poem, when the poem is written, Robert Frost, William Wordsworth, whatever the poem take about, these poets, what do they experience personally, and they write it in a universal way. Similarly, what Doctor did it was a personal, he did individually, but that image is giving about the Japanese. This is the character of Japanese. They are soft from heart and they help others. That is the nature of Japanese. They don't discriminate people on colors, nationalities or culture. They pay respect, they treat humanitarian behavior. That we think, or that we evaluate or calculate from the character of Sadao. So this is the theme discussion, students, what I have discussed with you here. Okay, and we can see further in the gist what is the I can sum up about this part here. So what happened here? Now I hope the students, you are able to understand the what the theme point, what I have shared you right now, and see here the gist of the story. Dr. Sadao, a Japanese surgeon, finds a wounded American soldier on the beach near his house. So Dr. Sadao is living near the beach and with his family. Father was the main hero and he was thinking a lot of him for the future. And what happened? Same near the beach. Okay, same near the beach. Same Dr. Sadao got this American soldier on the beach. Okay, and he's unable to throw him back, though he was his enemy, as he was a doctor and his first duty was to save life. Okay, see students, try to understand here, try to understand. He can throw it back to the water again, but he did not do it. Why? Why is the question mark comes here? Because he was his enemy, he can throw it, because he's a doctor and his first duty to save life. Second, humanitarian part comes up. But being a doctor, first duty is there to save life. So he did that. Okay. Next here comes here Hannah, his wife. Next character, important character. Though initially reluctant because it was dangerous for all, including the children, to keep the enemy in the house, joins her husband in operating and nursing the enemy soldier back to health. Even though servants desert the house. Desert the house means servants denied and they did not do anything. They left the house. They left the house. Even the servants left the house. Servants did not support. Servants were against these people. Okay, means Hannah was with the husband. Hannah was with the Dr. Sadao in all the situations. Hannah assists Dr. Sadao in operating the soldier in spite of her physical discomfort or hesitation. Physical discomfort we can talk about. In the beginning, she was not able to adjust. See, she did it. What Hannah did it? We can say Hannah started cleaning to the man on the top of the body, rotated, clean that man again. And when the blood was coming up, when she saw this blood, she was not comfortable. Here the same discomfort has been mentioned here. And hesitant, she was not able to adjust, because I have repeated this term in the explanation of the chapter, that she was what? Not doctor, she was neither doctor nor a nurse. So she was a common man, and she was not able to, she has never attended operation ever, or she has never seen that process of operation ever. That's why this was not comfortable situation for her. Okay, and then next what happens, next point, talking that here the Hannah assists Dr. Sadao in operation. Next one, though it was wartime and all hands were needed at the front. Okay, so try to understand. Though it was a wartime and all hands were needed at the front, means all hands refers to that all the requirements will be needed, immediate requirement. Okay, at the front means this man. Who is this man here? And that is Dr. Sadao. Dr. Sadao was not sent outside of Japan or outside where he was living, because the general might need anytime. Doctor. That's why general was only trusting whom? Dr. Sadao. And Dr. Sadao was specialist in surgery and medicine. At the same time, he was doing research. He was a research scientist. And what was he doing? He was just he has just discovered how to render, how the wound remark will be vanish after the treatment. So that he was on the process of doing that. Though it was a wartime and all hands were needed at the front, means he was immediate, anytime he might be needed. The general did not send Sadao with the troops, as he is an expert surgeon and general needed him. And he was an expert surgeon and general needed him. Sadao tells him about the enemy soldier. So Sadao informed him about the enemy soldier, but he does not take any action, as he is self-absorbed. His self-interest is there. He's also absorbed with something, and forgets his promise that he would send his private assassin to kill the enemy and remove his body. So Sadao recovered. Sadao worked with the patient. Who is the patient here? The enemy. Who is the enemy? Tom, the American soldier. He treated him, but he cannot kill him. His nature is something different. He cannot kill him. At the same time, you can see the words he kept it. He cannot follow it of killing or sending the assassin. Who is that man? The General Takima, or the general, was not able to do it or keep his words. We can see the next line here. Taking advantage of the general's self-absorption, Sadao decides to save the soldier's life. After the soldier is out of danger, Sadao helps him to escape from his house to safety. He helped him to go to the safety place, arranging a boat, arranging all the food material, all the requirements an individual need to change to go one place to the other. So this was the nature of Dr. Sadao. And nature of Hannah, we can see, very helpful to humanitarian. They saw the humanitarian behavior, or human towards the human. They had a kind heart. Okay, kind heart means the wholeheartedly helped the enemy. Okay, and they made that enemy who was ready to kill any Japanese any moment. They made such situation that he happily went, and he was very much thankful to these people. Okay, he was very much thankful to these people. These people refers to Dr. Sadao and Hannah. Okay, at the end we saw that their servants Yumi and other servants, that is cook and gardener, they all returned back within some days. Yumi first, and then after that other servants. Okay, so this is all about the summarizing details or summarizing way I've done the analysis of the chapter. Okay, students, theme I've discussed and the summarizing information I've discussed with you. Let's come to the question answers part. Okay, there are moments in life when we have to make hard choice between our role as private individual and as citizen with sense of national loyalty. With reference to the story you have just read it, you have just read it. With the reference to the story you have to decide. See, these type of question most often comes like a long question. Rarely you get this kind of question as a short question. So here the some hint points have been given. You have to note it down, these hint points, and you have to elaborate as a long answer for your self practice, and you can show it to me later on. Okay, and you can WhatsApp me your answers how you're doing it. So Sadao is trapped in a dilemma, in confusion. Dilemma means confusion. On one hand, being a doctor, having moral and ethical responsibility to save the wounded soldier, and other hand, being a patriot to let the enemy die or hand him over to the army. He fulfilled this ethical responsibility, saves the man, risk his own life, his family, a reputation, and then later, as a patriot, plans to get him killed with the help of an army general. Later on, again, he helps his escape with the reflects his true personality. His true personality is showing that he is helping this man and sending him back to his own place. So that man will share his own experience, how really Japanese are, how helpful these Japanese are. So one man can change. We say one man cannot. See, one man gave a big example of how Japanese people are. So here he represents the example of Japanese. Okay, so we can see the next question. Dr. Sadao was compelled. Okay, Dr. Sadao was compelled by his duty as a doctor to help the enemy soldier. What made Hannah? See, I was talking about Hannah. Now there comes the question for Hannah. What made Hannah, his wife, sympathetic to him in the face of open defiance from the domestic staff? The domestic staff refers to the maids, other servants. Everyone were against. What made her to stand or protect husband? What is the reason why she was, we can say, sympathetic towards that enemy? Hannah firmly follows her husband's sense of duty. Okay, she follows her husband's sense of duty, although she knows that her husband's decision is being questioned by everyone. Husband decision is questioned by everyone. She is humanitarian and compassionate. Okay, compassionate. Okay, she is humanitarian and compassionate and goes beyond her duty to perform the task which she is not supposed to. She is not supposed to. She is doing everything that she is not supposed to. She shows her capability. She shows her maturity level. She shows her understanding level. She shows her loyalty towards husband. She shows duty of obligation towards the husband. We can see how this character is. Okay, and she is supposed to. It is her care that helps the man recovers quickly. She respects her husband and has a sense of duty towards him. We can see the next question. How would you explain the reluctance of soldier to leave the shelter of doctor's home even when he knew he could not stay there without risk to the doctor and himself? See, try to understand question here. How would you explain the reluctance of the soldier to leave the shelter of the doctor's home? Okay, he was not easy, he was reluctant to go. He was not agreed to go immediately. Sadao Hannah had treated the American with a lot of kindness and warmth. Similarly, in the chapter, the rat trap, as Edla behaved with the kindness That man, when he departed, he has not done the what any harm to that family. Similarly, the behavior Hannah and Sadao did it. They were very calm and warm. They did not behave very rudely. They so very kind-hearted, very warm, protecting nature, we can say. The man had suffered severely at the hands of Japanese army, as he had been made a prisoner of war. He was under the prison of war. He was under the Japanese army, and this warm attitude of Sadao and Hannah gave him so much relief that he did not want to leave their house. So much relief, they did not want to leave their house. The man felt at home, safe and warm. The man felt at home, safe and warm. So even though they were at risk at the hands of the army and the people of Japan, the man was reluctant to leave. That's why he was very much reluctant. Means the behavior of these two people, Hannah and Sadao. As they treated, whatever the country, he was interested to be there, because when he'll go outside, he's in problem. When he'll go outside, he is in problem. Okay, so that's why he was not easy to go. But later on, he understood the situation. What is the high time? What is the demand? Okay. Here are many questions here to be discussed, students. The message, what does the enemy give? The message, does we get it? That this is a great lesson in humanism. Dr. Sadao, by nursing the countrymen, proves true to his professional ethics. Being a nursing, and he is doing the professional ethics. What next here? But Sadao searching the spot of black twilight in the last part. What was the reward? The reward was the escape of enemy. The reward was escape of enemy. Understand what was the reward? Dr. Sadao says the spot of black in the twilight sea, the night to the sea. If the man was still there, but there was no light, obviously the man had gone. The escape of the prisoner was his reward. That was his reward. Next, who was the white man? Whom Dr. Sadao and Hannah found. The white man was an American. The guess that he was a prisoner of war from his cap and said Navy SEAL. Okay. Why did the servants leave? I have discussed what was the reason. I have shared in the theme point, and the fourth question, where I was. Okay, just take a snapshot. Just go through it, students. If you have any doubt, you can write it down personally to me. I have not given any questions for practice. Definitely, I'll be sharing you with the practice questions later on. And if you have any doubt, any problem, you can connect to me. And those are new subscriber watching my channel, just do subscribe. Don't forget to like my video and share as much as possible. And don't forget to press the bell icon button. So with this information, with this answer, the discussion, just look into the question and answer. This is a question answer session also. I've done it.